The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Huth.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. So, another week and another episode of No Evan, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, but hey, I mean, we kind of dove a little deep to find somebody, and so we got a cool guest. You want to introduce him?
Yeah, we dug deep into the reserves and found a guest host this week who is sitting next to me. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Dean, and I have been a Platinum Pass holder with Cedar Fair since 2016. And then I also have worked at the park for 3 seasons within the live entertainment department, doing DJ, MC work, and a whole bunch of other odd jobs. But yeah, it's me.
Yeah,
So
we're happy to have you here.
DJ Renaissance?
Renaissance, come on, man. It's
Renaissance.
DJ Resistance, DJ Outlaw.
Resistance, DJ
Yeah.
Outlaw.
And
yeah.
DJ Dr. Scream, too, for a brief stint. So
Yeah, that was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
it was the whole Tricks and Treats Fall Fun Fest stint.
During COVID?
Yeah, during COVID.
Okay, so like 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when you had like the orange hair or the green hair or something.
Orange hair, yeah, that was me.
Nice, love it.
Yeah, so, one thing you probably saw from that stage really well was Top Thrill Dragster, right?
Yeah. If I could turn around and look backstage, behind stage, I would see Top Thrill Dragster. And I heard there's something going on over there.
Yeah, so I was able to go to the park yesterday, and I got one of our I guess you could say our frequent visitors on our page. He's like, go check out Top Thrill Dragster. There seems to be some kind of a lift on the opposite side of where you walk on the midway. And I'm like, okay. So I walk over there. I go over on, because you can still walk over to to the entrance of the ride, and you can also go on the bleachers that are still there. So I'm like, all right. So I go over there and look, and lo and behold, there's a man lift, which is like one of those giant lifts. Like it's like a bucket kind of thing. You can lift it up and do whatever you need to do. Well, anyway, it is over by the brakes area. Not exactly sure, though, if it's for Top Thrill Dragster. It could be also for Iron Dragon. I heard possibly there could be like some kind of inspections going on or something. But it is kind of nice to see. And I did also post on the Rundown Facebook page that the gates to Train 2 in the station were open. And then I looked yesterday, and the gates were closed. So maybe some ghost riders, possibly. I'm not exactly sure. So,
Or some maintenance guys just having fun with us.
They could be like, hey, you know what? Why don't we mess with like some of these GPs or actually coaster enthusiasts, and let's just open the gates and watch the internet.
Yeah, it very well could be for Iron Dragon, or it could be for Top Thrill Dragster and Iron Dragon. Still pretty obvious that we won't see it open this year, just for the pure fact that of the 6-month off season, Dragster takes 5 months to get ready?
I would say so. Sometimes it takes a little longer because it'll be opening day and Top Thrill Dragster won't be ready to go. It won't.
And they weren't able to start that work until like after opening day this year, probably.
I would assume, because I mean, the investigation got closed. I think late March was that?
Yeah.
Was that? I think it was late March. So, April, May, June, July. I mean, yeah, So when they said it's going to be closed this year, the park meant it. They're not like, well, it'll be closed. Maybe it'll open up later this year. So,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to reopen this year, but I am hopeful that it reopens next year.
Yeah. I am very hopeful that it opens next year, because next year it'll be its 20th anniversary. So
And nothing that we've seen really points to the fact that it's going away. You know, you can sit there for an hour on Facebook or any of the old school forums and say, oh, well, they took it out of this specific picture of the skyline, so that means it's not coming back. But
yeah, everything, merchandise wise, like skyline wise, we've been watching it in the gift shops. They're still selling Top Thrill Dragster merchandise, not new, but just they still sell the Top Thrill Dragster merchandise. And they also have like the new shirts and stuff. All the skyline still has it on the shirt and everything like that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. And then I know real quick, I know that people are saying, oh, well, they're getting ready to cut it down, or they're getting ready to do whatever. Actually, if they were going to do that, I believe they would also wait until the park was closed for the season, because that's going to be a huge project if that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, letting the park clear out. That's such a huge job that
yeah,
I don't even know how you'd begin to go about that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty intense.
And if you were at the park today looking at Dragster, on the way out, you might have found that the midway flooded and that everybody was trying to leave at the same time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We got sent a few pictures. We did share a few pictures online from some guests that were at the park, but it's normal, like especially when it like downpours and rains like really, really, really hard and really fast, probably like a half an inch to an inch, like for 30 minutes or so. It happens. Cedar Point sits on a very teeny tiny, if any, water table. I mean, obviously they have a little bit of a water table. But when it rains, the sewers and the drains can't keep up, and the draining is just very slow, and sometimes the midway becomes ankle deep or so for I'd say probably like a few hours, and then it'll go away. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, I feel like it happens a couple times a year, but it always happens at the same spot on the midway, like nowhere else in the park. So that spot just must be lower than everything else or something.
That and also the parking lot. That's always a chore, especially that handicap parking out in the front. I remember it being so deep, it was almost up to my knees. So that was fun.
Yeah, very early last year when I was working at the park, it was probably still in early June. There was a day that it flooded really bad out by Famous Dave's and the marina in that area. And they came into our office and said, if your car is parked in the Bayside lot, it might be floating away, so you might want to go move it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
But yeah, it's something that happens a couple times a year. It's always fun to see pictures and everybody just not caring and just walking through it anyway.
Yeah. But, why not?
Yeah, keep in mind, if you're going to go to the park and it rains, that might happen.
I was gonna say, so you did a little news dive into Kings Island. At least one of the coasters that was closed this year or whatever, reopened back up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if you remember a couple weeks ago, we saw pictures of the Bat where it had not derailed, but one of the wheels in the wheel assemblies had fallen off during the ride and hit a portion of track and kind of scuffed it and dented it up. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, this is probably it. It's probably never going to reopen. And I don't know where those claims came from, because there was never any justification that it was going to close forever.
Internet rumors.
Yeah. It was closed for like 2 weeks probably. I mean, it was closed the entire time I was there for the 4th. It just reopened either yesterday or today, like very recently.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great that it's back open.
I love that ride.
I love that ride. It's like if someone that's listening that's never been to Kings Island, but they've ridden Iron Dragon, it's like Iron Dragon on like a scale of, I don't know, 10.
Yeah,
intense.
It's very intense.
Fun. It's very fun. It's smooth. It's fun though. It's got a lot of swinging and all kinds of fun stuff. Dean, what do you think of it?
I enjoy it. It was I've only rode it a couple times because I'm only willing to make that mile back hike, once or twice a season, and so I've only rode it a couple times, but I do enjoy it. It's a good coaster. It's definitely not like on the same level of family thrills as I would say Iron Dragon is, but it's definitely a step up from Iron Dragon. I like it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, me and you and Evan and Maya, we rode it during Coaster Stock a couple times.
Yeah, and also if you're, I don't know, you like steaks, you can see some snakes sometimes crawling up the supports in the back. So that's always fun.
Yeah, I would say that snakes are pretty scary, wouldn't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like snakes. And something else that is scary is Halloweekends.
Yeah, they're hiring. Like today, emails went out or whatever. They're hiring for Screamsters.
Yeah, and I feel like we have a little bit of an advantage on this topic since all three of us currently recording the podcast have worked as Screamsters for at least a season.
Yeah. Last year was my first season being a Screamster. That was pretty cool. Got to do Erie Estates. You don't have to. What's kind of cool is if you're scared about it, don't be scared. They pretty much take you under their wing. The management for like the scare actors, and they kind of like have like run throughs and walkthroughs, and they try to find your character inside of you, where it could be like, I don't know, someone that you never thought you would be, like some shy something, and then you just randomly scream, or vice versa, where you almost sound like an old man. Like Evan and I have a few stories that maybe we can share in the weeks ahead about our stories. But it was a fun time. It was and also what's really nice is if you apply, you're going to make, I think, $15 an hour.
Yeah, that's starting wage this year.
And then if you're returning, you make $20 an hour, which is nice. But still 15, I mean, to scare the crap out of somebody, it's awesome. Like you're literally just standing in there and you're hanging out and you make good friends. You also get to, experience, new things, and you kind of like open up that Pandora box of yourself and whatever. I don't know. What did you guys think when you guys did it?
The first year I started scaring, I scared in Hexed when it was Hexed Lights Out, when you had to carry around the flashlight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I did it alone. Dean didn't do it with me. And, I was really nervous that I wasn't going to make friends and I wasn't going to be good at it. But they really do a good job of teaching the fundamentals, telling you to scare forward and help you thrive. And another thing that I thought was really cool was that the veteran scarers have a very open attitude towards the rookies, and they truly want to help, and they truly want to
very much so.
Yeah.
I could agree. Yeah.
The first year I scared, I had what I like to call the dream team, where we all got along so well, and on nights, I mean, we would be eating through people, giving everybody a scare. It was so much fun, even with, getting flashlights shined in my face all night every night, because we gave the guests flashlights that year. That was a little annoying, but it was so much fun. And then the next year, so that was in 2018 when I scared in Hexed. And then in 2019, I talked Dean into it, and we didn't go back to Hex because our scare captain and QT, our scare captain left, and our QT, which is like your house supervisor, she moved to Slaughterhouse. So, and a lot of the people who I scared with either moved to different houses or didn't come back. So I got rehomed to Erie Estate, and I talked Dean into doing it with me.
Mm-hmm. Erie Estate was a really fun time. We were placed specifically in the game room, so it's where they have like the poker table, and then they also have like stuffed taxidermy, hence the game room. And so we would tandem scare a lot, and then some nights we would jump into the bar a little bit, which is the scene right before that, in between the dining room. And it was a lot of fun. It was a job, I honestly, like no other. Not want to use the slogan and stuff from Cedar Point, but it was. It was very unique, and I mean, I don't think you get that opportunity a lot to have like that type of job and position. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, we made friends there, within the house and stuff, and even outside of the house, and it was a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed my time at Erie Estates, and a special shout out to our scare captain, Felix. What a guy.
Oh, yeah, Felix.
What a guy.
Yeah, I was really bummed that my position at the park last year did not allow me to scare, because it's such a fun job.
Yeah.
But I was able to scare on closing weekend on Friday. I was at work, and I had finished all of my assignments, and I went to the bistro, and I saw Felix, and I said, "Hey, man, really bummed that I can't do it this year." And he's like, "Well, hell, what are you doing tonight? We need people." I was like, "Really? You need people that bad?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, man. Well, I'll even give you your own room back." He's like, "Go up the wardrobe, get in a costume, and come find me." So that was really cool. I got to have one more night.
I was gonna say one thing was the perks. Was really cool to do, like, employee ride nights.
Yeah.
Before the park closes for the season, they had Wicked Twister Appreciation Ride Night last year. We all got like little buttons and stuff, but they also give you like a lot of perks too, where you get like the haunt, like a free haunt sweatshirt and like beanie and hat and all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking for some free stuff and a good time, definitely apply.
Yeah, they normally do it on like a week by week basis. So one week you'll get a pair of gloves, and another week you'll get a hat, and then another week you'll get your sweatshirt. And they treat you really well as a scare actor and an employee, because one, they really need people at that time of the year after all the college kids have gone back, and the people who worked full time have other jobs. They're really hurting for employees. And at the end of the day, during fall, people come to the park for Halloweekends. So if they don't have people in those haunted houses, they're not exactly making the money that they otherwise would be. So they treat you very well. If anybody listening is on the fence, I think we have 3 glowing recommendations of just do it. Even if you can't commit to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they will work with your schedule. If you have to come in late or leave early, they will give you what you want.
Yep. I do have to say, when you get to, one of my favorite parts was obviously making friends, but when you got your makeup done, they would put the spray, like as they do like a spray art,
the setting
on
spray
your face. But the smell, it didn't smell like makeup. All it smelled was fresh cut apples. So
yeah, the best makeup I ever got was when I worked in Hext. It was a Sunday. The makeup artist, because typically they don't spend more than 10 minutes on any one person. It was a Sunday and she was really slow. She spent like 25 minutes working on me and hand painted all my stuff. I was this like green swamp monster, because in Hext there's a room with the bungee cage, which is where I worked. I worked in that bungee cage lunging out at people. We called it the swamp room. So she drew me up as this like swamp creature with teeth and scales, and she drew all that by hand. I was really impressed. The makeup artists are so talented.
Mm-hmm. And it should be noted, too, that, again, another perk is that if you're on the fence, you don't have to provide any of your own makeup. I know at some, small mom and pop haunt, areas and stuff like that, you have to provide your own makeup and this and that. They do it all for you right there. They have a big section up in Haunt Central, which is atop of the arcade. At least that's typically where it's at.
It is.
And so they do it all up for you. You get a card and all that fun stuff. You get your own costume. Now, of course, you can bring in your own costume. I think you have to get it approved and everything.
I don't know if you can bring in a costume, but you can bring in props.
You can bring props.
Props, okay. But
so
still,
like something that'll it'd be like a squeaky chicken, or something that's not going to hurt somebody. So
yeah, previous to Halloweekends, I scared for a couple years at the Haunted Hydro in Fremont. Great little independently owned haunt, but they made you provide your costume and makeup. Oh, wow. So that is another perk that he brought up, that they provide everything. Mm-hmm. And, if you live far enough away from the park that you have to stay in employee housing is free during Halloweekends. So that's not an expense that you have to provide.
And to add on to that, food, sometimes they give you free food as well from the bistro. I remember like 2 weeks in a row they gave us like a Thanksgiving meal, and so it was like turkey, mashed potatoes, and that was one of my favorite meals all summer long at the and fall at the bistro, and it was completely free and stuff. It was good.
Yeah, that's normally one of the perks they do, is on Saturdays you get a free meal.
Yeah, that's nice. Definitely cool. And plus you can. I mean, last year we were able to check in, I think, at like 2 or 3 o'clock before the houses would open at like 4 or 5. So you could have your makeup done at like 2 o'clock, and then you could just, you'd have to stay up in Han Central, which is up, above in the ballroom above the arcade. But I know that Evan and I, we watched, like, we were able to use his internet and we were able to watch the Browns game. So that was kind of cool.
When the first year I scared, I did Friday. I committed to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Friday, you would have a lot of people doing homework or work on their laptops up in Haunt Central, because, like you said, they got into makeup an hour and a half before the houses opened. They would just bring their computer and just chip away at work and get paid for it, which is another perk.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun. So if you're thinking about joining, do it. And also, it's its 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a fun year.
It'll be cool. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, so we jumped a little bit ahead with Haunt, but another thing that should be gearing up by now is CP Nights. And, we are fortunate enough to have Dean here, who DJ'd at CP Nights for 2 years?
2 years, yeah, 2 years. Because they didn't do it in 2020 during the pandemic. And so they did it 2019. That was my first year at the park working, and then I got to do it last year. And yeah, CP Nights, it's a really fun event. They always try to, add something new, change it up a little bit from year to year, because, just a stagnant beach party doesn't go over well. But if you add a couple new things, change up a few things, brings more guests out. And it's always a great time out on the beach. I mean, you can't really get better than having a nighttime glow area in the beach come to life, after the park closes, and have that little extra time for the hotel guests and stuff to come out and have a good time, and then, slaunder back to their hotel rooms and tuck in for the night for another day of roller coasters. But yeah, I was able to DJ in 2019, and that was the last year for the big inflatable octopus that we would have. So that was fun. And then this past year in 2021, they kind of redid the stage and redid some of the lights. And
that was
so
cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool, and it was a big step up for me, because being a big DJ and tech guy and all of that fun stuff, I was actually able to control the lights from a touchscreen computer where they had, preset scenes and stuff that I could change the color, change the different type of flashing that the light was doing and stuff. And so it was really, really cool. It was a definite step up from 2019 in terms of like production and all of that fun stuff. And I had some really good nights out on the beach. Of course, you're always going to have those slower nights on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But even some of those nights, I would still draw a crowd, because it would go until 11 o'clock and the park would close up at 10. So people who didn't want to go home right away would, come on out to the beach and have a good time for that last hour. And then the hotel guests would always be out there. And, probably the only bad thing was the couple suite rooms that were right behind the DJ stage.
Oh, yeah.
I know none of them are fans of DJ Resistance, but, it's all right.
Yeah, last year we had Dine in the Dark too, which I personally did that one night, and it was really
was
good.
fun.
I wonder if we'll have that again.
That was fun. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing that they had kind of, brought together. And, I even had a hand during the middle part of the summer where I was just kind of doing odd jobs and stuff. I was rigging some of the lights inside of the Lakeside Dining Room, I think it's called,
Yep.
or Lakeside Pavilion. So that was really cool. But yeah, they definitely were trying something. I think it worked out for the best and stuff, and got good reviews all around for it. So, I think they're bringing that back this year, but I'm not too sure.
I mean, nothing's been announced yet, but
Yeah.
I would always go on record that I don't eat at the park, and I did that, and it was good food.
Yeah, and there was a lot to pick from too. I know
Yeah.
there was like fish and I think seafood, and I think there was like a pasta dish and some kind of meat dish as well.
Yeah, they had lots of like stations set up and stuff, and each one of them kind of had their own theme. At least this was what I was told as we were finishing up the lights and stuff. But yeah, it was a cool event. People would always come out to the beach with the blinky cups and stuff, and have a good time. And they even had some food out on the beach too. They had like some hot dogs, brats, all burgers, all of that fun stuff. And then yeah, that's about it for CP Nights. They had the glow volleyball, and then as well as I'm not sure if they brought back the silent disco or not last year.
They did.
Okay, so then yeah, that was down on the other end and stuff, and so that was a lot of fun.
Well, and last year too, they drug out a couple little games booths, and they had food that you could buy alcohol out on the beach too.
Yeah, so it's all around a good event. I know like Knott's Berry Farm does like their Knott's Summer Nights and stuff, which is great and everything, and I know they're more live entertainment driven based out there. When it comes to that.
They have to be.
Yeah, when it comes to that, but yeah, what I'm getting at is like CP Nights, it's on a beach. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever have a better job than being able to DJ right on the Cedar Point Beach, look out in front of me, see water and sand and people having a good time, and look behind me and see the roller coasters running, the lights going, and people having a good time in there.
You would have
amazing.
really good crowds too. Like we would,
yeah.
We would come over like after late, last Friday of the night kind of thing, and we'd walk over, and it'd be a Saturday night. It wouldn't even be a Saturday night. It could be like a weekday, and you would always get the crowd going, and you'd have like half the the beach pretty much full, and like you said, those lights, like a lot of people don't really think about it, but like lights really add to the atmosphere. When you got those lights pumping and they're like flashing and doing all kinds of stuff and strobing and stuff, it just puts everybody in a different mood. Like it's really fun. So
yeah, it was really fun to learn the software and kind of work with that and, try different things out because there was no set, script for, I had to hit red and green lights at this time. No, it was just kind of whatever I wanted to do. And so it was fun messing around with those.
Yeah. It was
Probably the best crowd I had was actually on closing day for CP Nights, which was, I believe, a Sunday. It was the Sunday before Labor Day, and I had that beach packed. I mean, not me specifically, but, the beach was packed. I mean, there was at least 500 people all in the little glow zone area jamming and having a good time. And, yeah, that was a great way to, end CP Nights and stuff, so... But yeah.
And if you're you're not wanting to dance around and do all that, there's also like fire pits. I know that they have around the beach, with like lounge chair, not really lounge chairs, but like some kind of seating that you can kind of sit around like the fires and stuff if you want to do something more low key. And then like you guys said, there's food on there, and there's also drinks. So it's fun. It also, I don't know, quote me if I'm wrong, did it start at 7:00 last year?
Yep, last year it started at 7 to 11 every night.
All right, yeah, it's 7 to 11 again. It starts on July 29th and goes until August 21st. So that's gonna be fun. That'll be a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Little sad that we're gonna miss it this year, Dean.
Yeah, and good luck to whoever replaces and takes on the full responsibility of CP Nights. I know you'll do amazing out there. Good luck. Keep the energy high and keep the crowds fist pumping.
There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if CP Nights gets neutered at all because of the construction that's going on right down the beach.
Yeah.
But keeping up with
that's a good question.
Yeah, keeping up with talking about it. What's new this week? Because it seems that every week you talk me into riding Giant Wheel, and we just lean our cameras over and take pictures.
I'm pretty happy to say that I was able to talk Justin, our awesome, like, I don't know, like our pre-host or whatever.
Our announcer.
Our announcer, yeah, our official announcer, our neighborhood announcer. No, yeah, he hates the Giant Wheel, and I was able to, I don't know, somehow con him into riding it with me, and I was able to get some pictures up there. But yeah, so they're still continuing the process of building whatever's being built over there. It's starting to look a little bit more like a building of some sort. Not exactly sure if it's like a ride building or that food building or something. Not exactly sure. I know there's a rumor about a food building going around, but nothing's been confirmed. I did find a new, looks like staging area over by, when you're driving on the causeway over by Cedar Point Express, in the very back where the sunflower, the sunflower
Prayers for Maria Hope sunflower field.
Yeah, that's tied to Frontier Fest.
Yeah. I found a little area that's been fenced off, and the fence is actually covered with like a cover, so you can't really see what's going in and out of there. Every time I go to Cedar Point, I just kind of take a look and just, because the fence isn't high enough, so I'm able to just walk up and just kind of peek, and there's nothing in there as of yet, but it's a pretty big staging area for whatever it is, whether it's building material or ride parts.
Well, I could be off basis here, and if I am, please let me know. But isn't that where they stored the track for Valraven before they moved over to the park a few years ago?
Yes, and then they also did a big, it was pretty much that whole entire field that they had over there, but they had Maverick over there, and I remember taking pictures in the field because the grass wasn't really cut over there, so there was lovely bugs that would just crawl all over you and stuff and whatever. But yeah, there was, that whole entire field though was packed with all that track, so it's like, I'd say probably a quarter of that field or whatever. So I guess we'll have to see and just wait for a few weeks and see what pops up.
Yeah, so the best place to see what's going to happen with construction is probably the webcams, and we got a new webcam this week. Webcam 3 has returned.
Woo!
Yeah, it finally returns. A lot of people were saying, it could possibly return to Top Thrill Dragster, and obviously it didn't, but it actually returned. I kind of like the spot. It's back in Frontier Town over on the old Skyride building, if anybody knows that.
Okay.
That's where the restrooms are, right next to
like where Frontier Lift came into that station at.
Yeah,
by the
yeah. So they
bathrooms?
put
Okay.
it right on the very, very top of that, and it's got some new views. Like you can see Magnum from a distance, which looks really cool. Or obviously you can see Maverick and Steel Vengeance, and then also you can see really, really, really close Skyhawk. So, if Tony decides to point the webcam at Skyhawk, you can watch Skyhawk do a cycle or two.
Yeah, that's
cool.
a pretty cool vantage point because I don't think up until now we've had one in Frontier Town, have we?
I don't think so. I think the last webcam that was like around in the Frontier area was probably either when Skyhawk was built, or maybe when Maverick was being built. Because I do remember when Maverick was being built, there was a webcam. The webcam might have been on, what was it, Snake River Falls, maybe something like that. Possibly. I cannot remember though for sure. You have to go on like that Wayback Machine and see if you can pull it up or whatever. So
Yeah. That's cool though that we get kind of a glimpse into Frontier Town now, and we can watch Skyhawk cycle and all that fun stuff.
It's cool. You can see the farmhouse. You can kind of see, what's going on back there. So, I mean, because those other two webcams are up on Power Tower. So you can't really get a crazy zoomed in view of like what's going on. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so if you are sitting at home and you are watching the webcams with a friend, but that friend does not have a way to get into the park, if you are a platinum or gold pass holder too, are gold pass holders included in this?
I believe so. It said pass holders. So
okay, so
even
pass holders.
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone, you can bring a friend to Cedar Point now, and if you use your pass, you can buy them a discounted ticket. Is it $39.99?
Yep, $39.99, and I believe it's up to 4 each day.
Yeah, I remember when they used to do the $20 days, and it would be restricted to like a Wednesday in September, or I mean not September because they weren't open then, but like crazy specific days. But it's good that they're opening it up now. I don't necessarily know if that means that they're having trouble getting people in the gate or what's going on there, but definitely a good opportunity if you have a friend or family member that hasn't been in a while to take them back. I know my aunt is in town right now from California, and I'm taking her to the park tomorrow, and I'm going to use this deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it's that $39.99 kind of changes just with the calendar, because I'm looking right now, like this weekend it's $45 on Friday and Saturday, but then it drops back down to $39.99, and then also you can do up to it looks like up to 6 tickets instead of 4. So
that's a pretty good deal if you have a big family and you want to take them for a little bit cheaper, because tickets can get expensive.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, and also people are saying, prices of food are really expensive. Well, why don't you buy an all-day dining? You can buy that for like, say, $40, $45, $40, $50. We'll just say $50. You can buy that. I know it's less than $50, but you can buy that. And that's like equivalent to almost like 3 meals, and you can eat every 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. So if you want a burger at Coasters, which is freaking awesome, and then later on, maybe like, I don't know, you can get the premium one that has the snack option, where it's like you can get, I think fries on that, like specific fries. You can get all kinds of different snack options for that, but it also includes a drink too. So, I mean, it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, and especially if you are saving some money at the gate, you might be more inclined to spend money in the park. I know that was one thing that we talked about last week, was people are spending money in the park because revenue's up 20% over the calendar year.
Yeah, they're definitely spending money in the park. That's for sure.
I will be interested to see how this affects attendance going into kind of the second half of the summer, now that we are past the 4th of July, which is kind of the halfway point of the summer.
Yeah, that'll be it'll be interesting, especially for like, Halloweekends and everything that's, kind of going on kind of thing with everything. I know gas prices are finally starting to come down, so maybe there'll be more people that'll be coming out to the parks. I know everyone's going to try to squeeze in that last little vacation kind of thing before, before the park starts to go to, there'll be Thursday through Sunday, which is nice. Thursday through Sunday is nice. But before, it gets kind of spooky and you start to see the leaves start to change and, so.
Well, I think that is everything that we had planned to talk about tonight. I know, we're still down Evan, and thank you, Dean, for coming on. But,
yes, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
And this wasn't we did talk about quite a bit tonight, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time on each topic, which I honestly kind of like that format.
Yeah, I think it's good. We will hopefully next week. We talked to him. Evan's doing great in Poland. Shout out to him. We hopefully have some kind of clip from him being there. We weren't able to get it together tonight, but hopefully maybe next week we'll be able to hear from him.
Yeah, he's planning on sending us a trip report from Energylandia that we'll be able to play right there on the show.
That's like the AKA of Cedar Point over there. So that's...
Yeah, before we end, Dean, this is a kind of a monumental episode for both of us. I know it's your first, but this will be the last episode that me and you, if you come back on, record in Ohio, as we are moving to Florida in less than a week.
That is true. So long, Ohio. So long, the day trips to Cedar Point and Kings Island. That's it. We got some new home parks coming up for us, but... Oh yeah.
I think I got something in my eye. Something in my eye that's starting to...
Yeah. I'm going to miss the last minute trips, but...
Oh yeah. New adventure.
Hey, you know what? You can have last minute trips now to Disneyland and Universal and,
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, and then once we find cheap airfare, we can come back.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, right? Spirit and Frontier, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, Jared would not agree with Spirit. He had a pretty bad experience with them this week. So, do you have anything else to add this week, Karsten?
No, just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thanks, Dean, for being a guest. Definitely appreciated it.
Yeah, well, it is time to end another episode. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with us. And we hope you all have an amazing week out at the parks, doing whatever it is that you're doing. Until next time, we'll see you on the Midway. Be kind to your ride operators. Good night, folks.
Bye, guys.
See ya.